I'm going to turn to a bit of a sobering topic, something that you faced immediately after the government took over, which is this devastating and the floods that hit the state. I think in a space of 2 or 3 days, centers, including urban centers, were deep underwater. The response, what I learned secondhand, of course, of the Honorable Chief Minister himself, the bureaucracy, parking their vehicles and buses next to that station, having meetings there. Some of the officers told me that the Honorable Chief Minister would roll up his trousers and be in the flood water often, almost every day. I don't think we've seen that kind of response anyway. Plus the use of technology, not just the emotional touch, but also the use of drones, AI, big data, using drones to deliver food packets on buildings and then saying we can't do enough because we can only do one building at a time, and up to 40 kgs of delivery on a drone. That was remarkable. All of this coming together for disaster management, again, something we've never seen in India at this scale. One of the officers told me that he knew in which lane how many refrigerators had been spoiled because of flood, and then worked with the private sector to kind of have that fixed. So could you talk a little bit this, I know it's a disaster, it's a terrible human tragedy, but also incredible opportunity to learn about disaster management using technology and human touch in equal measure.
The flood that we had recently was 1 in 248 years event. And as you know, things are changing and we're going to have once in a century events happening more often. So as a state, we understand that. But this flood definitely caught us off guard. It was a flash flood. In greater parts of the city, we had more than 6 foot water. So, and it was the first time that we had to handle floods. As a state, we've handled cyclones and we have expertise in that. But then Mr. Naidu, being Mr. Naidu, said, why can't we use drones for delivery? And I remember quite a few of the operators saying that's not possible. I mean, we've used it for agriculture purpose. Being an Indian, we call the Jugaad model. We had a basket fitted, let's say, let's try it. And success, we actually managed to deliver food. I think I wouldn't say that it was the best model. I think it was a great beginning because we didn't have enough of drones. So I wish I had 2,000 drones. Then I could have delivered breakfast, lunch and dinner to every house. But I just had about 40 drones. And with that 40 drones, we did do a pilot. And I think it clearly gives a direction of what India can do. And we're seeing other nations use drones to kill people. But I think India shows the way of how we can use drones in terms of relief and rehabilitation. So I think there's a lot of work that we've done there. Saying that, the second bit was the entire rehabilitation. So relief was done. How do you pay money? How do you rehabilitate people? Again, we put all the models out. We had a sandbox. All the images of the water from CCTV, from our drone footage was put out there. We had all the education institutions across the country and in Andhra Pradesh take a look at it, give us suggestions, start working on the models to tell us at what day, what level of water was in which area. So based on the amount of water outflow to the terrain, to where it's getting discharged, we could understand that better. So our rehabilitation, the money we were giving, it was amazing. We did this entire thing. 15 days after flood water receded, we doled out the money. And it was all done through online. I mean, online because thanks to Aadhaar, every bank account is connected. So we were able to marry technology in that sense much better. But saying that, I think it's very important to go back to the field. And that's something that Mr. Naidu used to do every day in the evening. So he would go out for 4 hours, waist deep water, jump in, understand, did things get delivered or not? Then feedback would come to us. I was manning the control room. So he would say, okay, food didn't get delivered in this house on this lane. And here's the lat long. And then we had to send the food. So I think that's always required. I think you need a feedback loop. The human loop is always required on how much of a technology you might have. So I believe we have a model to handle such crisis, not only for Andhra, but for the nation. And one task we have taken up as a state is we'll get about 2,000 drones in the agriculture sector. A lot of the spraying, the pesticides and so on and so forth actually can be done using drones. And then during an emergency, we can pull it out and use it for relief activities. So I think it's a great learning experience. And as a country and as a nation, we're just learning. and how can we use this technology far better.
I just want to stop here for a moment and just applaud the incredible work that the government and the chief that I know the Honorable Prime Minister's Chief Minister is very, very passionate about. It could be or should be India's first ground-up AI capital, full of technology, built on the best plans, sustainable, everything that we can dream of. So if you could tell us a little bit about the vision behind the Amravati project, also called Amravati.ai, which is a very interesting subtitle for a capital city. How is it going and what is the vision? Because investors would really like to understand that. It'll be a state, a capital that will compete with several very important capitals in the south.
With other capitals in the world. We're going to compete with other capitals in the world, right. And that's our aspiration as a state. So, as a state, we got bifurcated in the year 2014. So, we are the new state, capitalist state. We started our journey from scratch, and Mr. Naidu is known for building cities ground up. An example of that is Hyderabad. So, Hyderabad was built by the Nizam, Secunderabad by the British, and Cyberabad by Mr. Naidu. He has a great contribution in that. So, he's known for it, and he brought the same vision, but he said, let's do this from scratch, and a completely green field. And the beauty of this project is not just the technology bit, but the human angle, where not even an acre was owned by the government, it was owned by the farmers. So we pooled the land from the farmers, where developed land went back to the farmers. So how do you make farmers part of this growth, the economic growth that we're going to deliver? So and that's very unique in that sense. And we started off with that project. It is going to be India's world-class city. It's going to be all green powered. It's a city that's going to have district cooling system. Like how you have power, water coming and gas coming home, you'll actually have air conditioning coming as service. So we're looking at various efficient models that have been deployed across the world that can enable us to leapfrog as a city. That's one part. The second part comes to the entire knowledge bit. If you look at it, we already have India's premier institutes like SRM, VIT, already having campuses there, and they're creating world-class students, faculty coming out of that area, and more campuses are going to come. So that's where the entire knowledge economy is going to get kickstarted. And saying that, as a government, we are very passionate about real-time governance. We did this in the past between 14 and 19. But now things have changed. Now government can be in your phone. So why should you go to office? And single question is that. So when you push a button, you're able to watch a movie. When you push a button, you're able to get a cab or groceries or lunch or dinner. Why can't government be that responsive? And that's a straight question that I get asked by the Honorable Chief Minister. Saying that, phase one, we're working with various platforms, and the phase one, we intend to deliver about close to 100 government services via any platform to your phone, number one. Number two, we want to use AI, and we are in talks, we are actually piloting it. And there are amazing examples of how AI can sort of improve the efficiency of government delivery. And the various instances where I believe we could have done much better than we did in the past. So you'll see in the next 100 days AI being deployed in governance, and also helping ministers, bureaucrats take decisions. So we already started this project where we have a digital twin for every minister. And based on the entire social listening, based on the feedback from various sources, it would advise that these are probably the 5 areas you want to pay attention in this week. So we're giving these insights to the ministers, and then we have this entire feedback mechanism. We understand sentiment across various ministries far better today. So 100 days from now, I think I'll be able to present it actually in front of everyone. And then we want to then go down, have a digital twin for every member of Legislative Assembly, so they can understand better what are the pain points, what are the things that we need to now focus on.